How do you convince the client that you have the capacity to know the market or to study the market better than he, as a local business person who had been in that environment for years and decades, had failed?
There are many different reasons for that, but I'll focus on the main ones. One is being a local is not a guarantee that you know how to prepare your project to attract investors. To the contrary, being a local, sometimes you think that it's not possible after you've tried for a year or two, and you blame it on where you are. 25 years I've been doing this, and for 25 years I hear the same thing in every country. If you are in Russia, people say, don't forget, you're in Russia. This is not like any other place. Or in Nigeria, remember that this is a very different place than the places you've been. And indeed, there are no major differences. But the locals believe that there are obstacles which can be overcome if you come in as an experienced outsider. We don't try to convince a potential client. We have discussions and we understand why they failed to attract investment, and we tell them why they failed. And because they failed, failure is the beginning of success. If a client hasn't tried and hasn't failed, he's unlikely or she's unlikely to understand our value. It takes a lot more work. But once they have failed for a period of time, they're the best ones to understand our value, because the things we describe to them, they didn't do. And they don't have the in-house capacity to do.
Do you sometimes import knowledge and know-how from one arena to another?
Always. Our methodology has not changed in 25 years. And we worked most of the time in countries where we didn't speak the language. If we take a project in Turkey, during period of crisis, this was the largest hazelnut processor and exporter in the world. In 2000, there was a constitutional crisis in Turkey, and in early 2001, there was a crash, financial crash, where the banks were not lending and could not borrow. So basically everything came to a standstill. But this particular client, who was introduced to us by their chairman, who knew that we were in the market, came to us and said, we cannot borrow from any bank in Turkey and we don't know any banks outside. We took the exact same formula that we had used in Lithuania 10 years earlier to understand what the opportunity was and why they, as an exporter, could get financing from European banks. And to make a long story short, we prepared that project the same way as we had prepared every project before, focusing on the market, on the clients. They had the largest candy manufacturer in Italy as a client. So it was, for us, it was idiot-proof.
But the experience in Lithuania wasn't at all in the farming or hazelnut.
No, it was a refinery, and it was oil products. It was fuel for airplanes and for clean fuel for cars and trucks. It was a completely different industry, but the same issues. You had to look at who was going to buy the products. There's no difference in terms of the methodology. The methodology is identical. Who is going to buy the products? What would they pay for? Why would they buy from this refinery versus others? Why would they buy from this exporter versus others? In every case, whether it's energy, agriculture, manufacturing of aluminum cans for beverages, all of them are driven by the market. So there's no difference from project to project about what we look at. The only difference is that you have to have the people who are doing the legwork and the homework and have to be specialists in that sector. So we have the methodology. We know how to execute that methodology and write the information that investors will rely on. But the people who are teaching us the technical aspects are people we hire and pay with the seed capital of the client.